Hi, and thank you for returning to Decolonized Yehudim channel. Just to let you know, normally when I get a dream or a vision, it's very short and straightforward and to the point. There's not like a ton of detail like on some other channels where you get like an hour or 2, 3, 4 hour long video. Also, if I do receive a verbal message that is directly from Yah himself, allegedly, because we have to use discernment, normally that's something very personal, and I don't recall any experiences of him communicating with me in that way about something that pertains to other people. So this video is going to be about a dream I had about a place called Shuntuk, Russia. And before I had the dream, I never heard of a Shuntuk, Russia, ever. And it's even hard to get information about it on the internet. Or at least it was for me anyway. The timeline for the dream, I received it basically a few days after the World Health Organization was first notified about the Andes Hanta Virus pandemic, which may have been one of the lab-enhanced viruses that's being released. And at the time, I did not yet know that was going on. So this is the time frame for when I received this Shuntuk, Russia dream. And basically what happened is that in the dream, I'm inside a small building that does not have windows. I'm looking at a set of bathroom floor rugs that has a matching floor mat and toilet seat cover. And in black marker, there's a name written on it that may have been either Sarah Shuntuk or Shana Shuntuk. And I have a feeling like as if it belongs to a woman who has already left the building or possibly gotten kicked out before she could find a new apartment. And as we know in biblical dream interpretation, a woman is often the symbol for a city and not an actual female in symbolic dreams. And so, and so when I did my Google search, I was not surprised that Shuntuk, Russia is a city. So moving on with the dream, I'm inside a small building that does not have windows. And on my right hand side, there's an adult Caucasian man telling another Caucasian man, only death awaits you in the larger cities. And then I turn away from the two men who are talking, and on my left, there's a pool of water that looks like it's outdoors in the open air, like almost like it's a lake with small waves in it or something. And there's low-level light over the water itself, even though the room is lit. So we're indoors, but it's obviously outdoor water, and it looks like it's outdoors. And I don't see anything beneath the surface of the water while I'm standing close to it. But then a snow-white young white man slowly floats towards the surface of the water and becomes visible. And then as soon as I blink, he's standing beside the pool of water in front of me, very thin, motionless, silent, and white as snow. He's way whiter than the two older white men who were talking earlier in the dream. I don't know if that's symbolic whiteness, as in the white being washed clean coming out of a mikvah, or if that's the white, or if that's the unnatural paleness of being the Caucasian version of a hybrid. I'm not sure which one it is. But moving forward with the dream, next I heard a low-level humming tone, like it's from a machine generating a frequency. And then a ball of snow-white bodies, just like the thin young man, levitates out of the water, maintaining a perfect sphere shape. And I believe they were all thin young men. And then at that point I realized that my wrist was hurting because I fell asleep on it the wrong way again, and instead of waking up to relieve the pain in my wrist, I asked one of the older men in the dream to massage my wrist. And then that's when I woke up immediately and took my head off of my wrist, which was on it the wrong way and causing pain. So for this symbolic dream, I really think the name Sarah Shuntuk or Shana Shuntuk. Shuntuk Russia is a small rural locality in Russia in a place called Maykopsky district in the Republic of Adygea, if I'm saying that right. And it's a small town that only has 15 streets. There's very, very little about that place online, and it's very close to the Caucasus Mountains. That's the origin for the entire white race. And in Cassian language, Shuntuk means something like conquer. So even though it's a very small location, there might kind of be something going on there. And given the timing of this dream, I'm wondering if it might be connected to the outbreaks of the lab-enhanced viruses that's going on right now and not fully over yet. Because there's more viruses they haven't even let out yet. I don't know if they're connected to that or not, but Sarah means princess to all in Hebrew, but a similar word, Sarah, that starts with a T means disaster. So what I saw, it could have been disaster Shuntuk, but if it was Shana Shuntuk, Shana means year in Hebrew. So on the Hebrew calendar, a year is 355 days. So this symbolic dream might possibly be about something occurring in Shuntuk, Russia in approximately 355 days from the date on the Hebrew calendar, according to Hebrew timing that it was received, which would have been sunset on May 7th, which is the beginning of May 8th on the Hebrew calendar. So it would be 355 days from there if what I saw was Shana Shuntuk. And I made an attempt to interpret the dream based on dream interpretation instructions in the Bible from the book of Genesis chapter 40 and 41, and also the book of Proverbs chapter 30. And my first and rough attempt at an interpretation is that a man who rises up from a mikvah for the purpose of spiritual purification, a built mikvah, not a natural mikvah. This is but it's fed by natural water and not rainwater, like what's common to big mikvahs. There's I believe that man receives a warning about only finding death in the larger cities, maybe on that 355th day from the day I received this dream. There's something about Shuntuk Russia wanting to find a new home somewhere, possibly here through an invasion, I don't know. and getting evicted from that in some way or another. And that coincides with some young man rising up from a mikveh, rising up from purification, on the 355th day from May 8th, 2026. And that event, I think, might also coincide with the Greys mass harvesting people and not trying to hide it, because I know in the past when I've watched videos from people who are not 100% committed to Christ's real name YESHUA, like myself, I know in some of their videos they talk about Greys rolling people's flesh up into balls and turning them into soup. And the ball of bodies levitating above the mikveh in this dream, it kind of leads me to believe that maybe a man rising up out of the mikveh maybe coincides with Greys stopping their tendency to hide a plan to literally roll people's bodies up into balls and turn them into soup. You know, based on what I've heard on other prophetic channels. I'm thinking maybe the ball of body symbolism might be about that, possibly. And it coinciding with his pursuit, him rising up from waters of purification. And and his warning about only finding death in the larger cities, that's probably also on the 355th day from May 8th. I don't know who this person is about, but in symbolic dreams, I think a man usually symbolizes a man while a woman is a symbol for a city. So I don't think there's really a whole lot to read into in regard to the man in the Shuntuk Russia dream. I think there's a possibility it could possibly have something to do with a person or an organization from that city getting evicted from something that they're trying to do here in America. It might not even necessarily be about Ukraine or another country. You know, I don't have further details right now. But April 28th, 2027 is the 355th day from May 8th, 2026, which is when I received this dream. So, if my initial attempt at interpretation is even remotely correct, even a little bit, that might be when we would see some of these things occurring. That's if there's access to be aware of it at all. Please leave your comments below, like if you've been practicing biblically based dream interpretation, and if you've been praying about direction from Yah about what we should be doing leading up to what could be some of the worst events in the history of our planet. You know, if you're praying about that, and if you'd like to leave input on what you think my dream might mean, please feel free to leave your input in the comments. And if I receive any further dreams or visions to clarify what this symbolic dream might mean, I'll go ahead and drop another video as a prophetic update. And as we know, the Bible states that in the last days, Yah will pour out his spirit on women and men, the young and the old, not solely just, high-level power prophets.